All right, you're welcome to this amazing section again tonight. I will answer your question. So I'm going to run through what I want to do in the next 10 to 15 minutes or 15 minutes to 20 minutes. Then we have the remaining time for you to ask questions. And then let's see how far. So it's supposed to be weekend while the market was a bit down. Then you have to start from weekly. If you did it as we agreed, which I told you you can't be able to put. So now when you come to weekly time frame, you say I've deleted all of those stuff, but I wish they are here so that you see what we did the other day. As I said the other day, when we go to small time frame, you see. So now you see that this was what happened last week. This was your last week stuff. Last week, this was the movement. And this week, which today the market has already opened, which I told you is 10 p.m. Nigeria time, it has opened for over 22 minutes now. So now, what are the informations basically you are trying to gather from this GBP USD? GBP USD has been an uptrend, and then where there was a low here last week, which happened to be this fair value gap, which has already come there once, twice. But does it mean that it's not going to come here again? No, it can still come over and over again, and we still have another fair value gap here, which you can be able to mark this one particularly as your weekly fair value gap. You can do the same thing after this on your chart. This is your weekly fair value gap here, and then that is the uh, buy side insufficiency, meaning that price was not able to balance here. So must price reach here? Yes, it can reach, it may not reach, but on a weekly time frame, that is the overall. And then we discover we have another fair value gap here. So these are the two fair value gap or prominent fair value gap we can be able to pick immediately. And then after we have picked that fair value gap, you have to be labeling them as I said. Then you can come here and mark this low. And this low, you're going to mark it your weekly sell side liquidity. So let me go and copy from my own chart so that you will see exactly the way I do it. You may not see that screen at the moment because it's not that screen I'm sharing because my currency pair, that Euro JPY. So what you will be doing is exactly what I'm trying to do. Okay, what's your message? Okay, good and fine. So that's exactly what you're going to do on your own chart, what I'm doing. So even when you cannot get it now, don't worry, you get the recording and then you will follow it and mark your chart, then observe and demo it this week. And then let's see how far you can be able to go with that. So I'm trying to get this thing from this side so that I will come and put it there so that you see exactly what I'm trying to say. Now, this so that's what exactly I'm going to do. So now this is what you're going to do. You will write it, but I just want to give you the shortcut as I told you the other day. So you see it here now, this text now. I want to paste something here now. So what do you see? Weekly sell side liquidity. So the weekly sell side liquidity, you see, I told you about the text alignment, middle, right, or you can equally, but for this particular one, sometimes you can be able to put it by the bottom, and then you bring it to the left side. It all depends on the way you want to do it, but you can equally leave it so that as you go forward, you're seeing it right there for you. So that as you go forward, seeing it, that this particular line, this is what it stands for. And as I said, you don't want the line to move to come here and then you lock. So you have locked that line, meaning that this is the weekly. And then we discover we have another low, which is the last week on. So we equally mark that one. So remember, anytime you lock it, you want to move it, you definitely have to unlock that one, copy, and then you put it this way. And then color is very important. So for the sell side, mostly we use rate because it signifying that if the price will continue going down, then you should definitely be able to respect it and be in rate or reject it because we know that rate can be. So that's why we call it sell side. So you can be able to put them in rate. For your own, you can put any color, not necessarily you put the color and put in. These colors does not mean anything. They do not add anything. They do not change anything. Just for understanding of, okay, this is what I am putting this stuff for. So anytime you are confused about the low, you are not getting it right, you put your cursor on it and it's telling us that it's 29733. So we just have to go and check if we were there to avoid any 29733. So you discover that we have to up the game to the upper. So in order not to waste time, you can put it immediately like this. And here we have it. So that's the low so far that you can see there what weekly sell side liquidity, meaning that here there is stop loss, here there is stop loss, here there is orders buy to sell, whatever here, same thing. So now after that, where is another one here? We have another one here, but this one is going to be buy side liquidity because it's not going to be sell side again. So it's going to be buy side liquidity because that is the way it's supposed to be. It's going to be buy side liquidity. Buy side liquidity will be the particular of that one we're talking about. So here, okay, I think my line here, these ones are not red. These ones are green. These lines are green. Why I put them green? Meaning that I expect price from that. Now let me tell you why I put them green. I expect price to bounce back from that particular place to start going up. But it's not a must that it must work that way. Just that's my own uh, thinking based on I have already named them. What do we call it? I've already named them buy side and sell side liquidity. So that is how I prefer to name them. So I discover I have two equal low here. So here too at the same time, I pick either one of them and then I will turn this one to red and then I will paste my text here, which is buy side liquidity. And mostly sometimes you can take it up, you can leave it like this, all the same. It depends on what you want to definitely get, as I said about it. So now, I believe you are following. Sorry, this is red. And then I'm to bring this one to red. Hold on. So that is it. So I can lock it. So now, I am done on the weekly because here I'm not looking to enter any trade. So I just mark these ones and then I label them like this because I want to make them what point of reference. Now where price is where they are is plenty of pips. Now from here to this place is about 40 pips. This is about 60 pips, 70 pips. So to here is about 300 and something pips. So to here is about 160 pips. Here is about 160. So it's not that the market must move go to those places immediately, but I want to have them as point of what reference. Reference means that I can, when price is coming to them, I should be able to begin to notice that, okay, now you can see what the price is showing now on the daily. So on the daily, this is what it's showing me. And then here you will mark your new day open gap and new day open gap. So sharply, let's just mark one, only one that's today on. And then I believe you have already have all of these stuffs the way we agreed the other time on your chat already. So we call like today on sometimes we name it or most preferably we name it new week opening gap. So instead of that D, you only change it. So you change the color and most of the time I told you all of this stuff. So we change this color so that you know that these ones are complete different set of people. Or if you don't like this color, any color of your choice, that one is absolutely up to you. So you know that this one we are referring to what? New week or new day opening gap. New week, because today happened to be the first opening day of the week. So we make Sunday to We make Sundays to be new week opening gap, and the remaining days from tomorrow to Friday is new day opening gap. So we discovered that we close on 3,476. 76 is not 78. So we just have to adjust to 76. Sorry, 76. Then we open here today on open is 30,404. 30,404. 30,000. Then we have 404. No waste of time. We are done with it. So you discover that the gap of today is a bit larger. You will do these ones too at the same time so that you know where exactly price may be going to. So before this particular one, you discover that we have another low here on the daily. So this one is going to be a daily buy side liquidity. These colors can be same green or red, depend on where they are, and then you have to differentiate them by making them a big bold. So do you have any buy side liquidity for even this one, but it's a minor one? Yeah, you can tag this as a minor, this as a primary, and then straight down to the 15-minute time frame. See what's going there. So here you have already do the markup, and then here too you can look for what you can equally be able to. Sometimes I do it advisable. You can be able to reduce this one to this particular place. Why? Because it is the same. And then you see all these imbalances. That simply means it will then increase to this place. Because I told you about these gaps. Anywhere you see is weak, there is no body of any candle there, especially like this. It's a very key point of reference. We discovered that there was only weak that passed down, is weak that goes up. Here, the same thing was weak that passed down. We call this one imbalance. This is imbalance. This is volume imbalance. There was no volume that passed through these places. So we mark them anywhere we see them too. If there could have not been fair value gap here, we could have said, okay, we leave it like this. But there's fair value gap, so we have to attach it to fair value gap. And most of the time, if we're to target this fair value gap, first target should be the first thought of the fair value gap, and then the middle point, and then the upper point. So that is how we're going to and do this one. But you can still leave it on the weekly and come and tag daily, because otherwise you will change the write-up from daily to then now, from weekly to then now daily. So that is how you mark your chart, and you then now go back to smaller time frame and see what the market is doing. Remember, this is the opening of today low and opening of today high, which if you are to type it still, as I always said, if you are to label it, you have to definitely be able to label it in such a way that you have to label it in such a way that you can be able to understand it. So I said that the Sundays opening, we label them this way, so that let me just do everything for you to see. This is their labeling. Today's date is 20th, so I just have to delete it here now and put 20th. And this is the high, and you can see now new week opening gap. That is N for new, W for week, G for this. So what I just have to do here is to still highlight this and copy it. Now I have already put this. And what did I do? I will lock it. But before I lock it, I think that my write-up was red. So I have to align every color. This is work. You know, there is nothing that just work. People think that trading is just come and pick money. No, you have to definitely do the work. So when you put this one, then you can be able to name this one low, and then we change the color to the same color of the line, and we are good to go. We are good to go. So that is the today new week, this week new week opening gap. So we have already marked it, and we can't call this one fair value gap. Why? The market just opened. This candle is part of the movement. So if by tomorrow we do not close this gap, that's where on the daily time frame we can tag it a new day fair value gap. So not new day, a fair value gap. But for now, it's not yet a fair value gap. This space can remain like this and price can start going up, or price can start coming down to fill the gap. So finding our entry, we said from here now we jump straight to 15 minutes. 15 minutes is not to enter the market on the 15-minute time frame. We are going to 15 minutes so that we can be able to see whether we have some inefficiency, that is like in form of new day opening gap, fair value gap, and the rest of stuff like that. So here you see that here we have a minor move. So when you come here now, you discover that this is your nearest sell side. No, but for today, this is where the market opened. This was last week. So you have a sell side, which here could be the primary sell side. And then we discover this is our weekly sell side liquidity. But we know for sure that there is liquidity sitting down here. Yeah, there's liquidity here. And then there's liquidity here, there's liquidity here, there's liquidity here. So when the market open like this, we are not in the rush to enter any trade. Now, for us to enter any trade here now, we have to either take this high and then come back and touch this, or we want to allow the market. The market has made a first opening low, which is this 2 equal low. If we have to go back to 5 minutes to see this low, because our entry. So you see that the market make this low, and then what are you waiting? You are still waiting because you may not take trade inside here. It's very dangerous. You have to wait for him to come out, or else you want to do something like, okay, know the equilibrium. Now we discover that this particular place is the equilibrium. Because any gap that is too big, you can be able to have a equilibrium for him, so that you too can be able to raise. So this ones you can put a dash line to know that this is equilibrium. And then that's consequence encouragement of the new week opening gap. And the gap was a bit large. So here that we have done this thing now, we discover that we still have this this last week sell side liquidity, and then this last week buy side liquidity. So which one are they going to take first? For now, there is no any sign of anyone they are going to take first, because we have not even formed any fair value gap here. We have not made any drastical movement here that either is break on structure or shift in structure to find any trade here. So for now, we are still standing still. But where was our closest daily fair value gap? If we are to go back to daily to know our bias, but necessarily that may not even be the point. The issue, we discover that coming down to this fair value gap is more likely, but on Thursday, we traded back up, and today, Friday too, we were not been able to make any significant move after we take this liquidity. So after we take this liquidity, there is a liquidity here, and then there's a people with order here, and then there is liquidity over here. So we are still waiting to see what is going to fall out before we make any decision. So you say you have two currency pair. So you either be waiting for them, or you will leave them, because before the liquidity start coming into this market, which is the Asian market now currently we're in, most times it starts from 12 midnight before you begin to look for an opportunity either buy or sell. So for now, you have to stand still. The market just opened. Most of the time, it's advisable if you are new, you can skip this section or the Monday trading section entirely. So it's not necessarily that you must trade today. You may wait and see, maybe then by tomorrow 5 a.m. if you have any direction, you begin to observe, see to 11 a.m. in the morning, to see if you have a trade or you are not going to have a trade, because sometimes Monday is not really that good movement. So apart from this, the next thing you have to check is the forest factory. You have to check forest factory to know the calendar for the week, to know the news calendar for the week. So you have to check forex factory, which I believe you can do that. It's not necessary that you must do that here. So you check forest factory. So for now, you want to wait and see the reaction of price, but these things that it does here does not give me any reason to see that market will going down. So I have to wait, even when I will enter a trade until we take this high, and then we come back and touch any fair value gap, either on 5 minutes or on 3 minutes. Then I can be able to consider looking for any of these. But as you can see now, there's nothing here that warrant anybody to do anything. We gap down here. That was this morning, this evening, sorry, around 10. And then you see there was a gap here. So the market may likely come and fill the gap or come and reject the gap here at the same time. You see how it went to that medium, that middle point, it rejected it. So that is the importance of you understanding the meaning of your new day opening gap. You see the rejection there was a serious one. So are we not going to go above here? We wait and see if we have any significant price action within this place. So market, we may wait for some hour, which I told you, mostly you wait for 1 hour to see what the market does. Then from there, you can be able to make your decision whether you see any trade that is good for you to trade or you do not see. Then you wait for London section. If you do not see London section, you have US section, which is the New York section, and so on and so forth. So I believe we have been able to cover up from a weekly down. You can mark this one, so not necessarily, I must not be the one to mark it for you. You can mark them and then you label them either your minor or your minor. This is minor sell side. And then this one you may not necessarily need to mark. So all this information are important so that you understand that these things has been done before the price. So price must go either of the direction. So but what are you waiting for? You're waiting to see that the price move and give you your own entry. Then you enter and go with the price in the direction. And then you know that from here you have here, and then from here you see you have other multiples by sell side. So if the price will go above this particular place, which is the buy side liquidity here, minor of minor, then I will look for fair value gap, take it up to this particular range. But for now, it's not going to happen now. I think this is about 50 pips here, almost 55 pips. This is about almost 55 pips from that entry. And then you find your stop loss in between those places. So I believe we have been able to cover up from point of, okay, this is what you have to look for, and then you have to wait, and then if this happens, then that. If this does not happen, then none. The price may decide to consolidate like this throughout this night. Who cares? Mostly we stay for, if I'm trading the Asian section, I come by 11 or by 12 midnight, mostly 12, and then I look at it and see to 2. If to 2 a.m. there is no any entry, I forget about it and go and sleep. Then I come back by 5 and begin to look for the London section entry. So I believe by this breakdown, you have been able to get 1 or 2 clarity. So now, let me know your question. You were asking me if you are to start this night. Yeah, you can start this night, but it's not something you're going to rush it. You have to take your time. And if you do not see entry, do not force any entry. You have to follow the criteria of what we have been teaching so far, making use of fair value gap, breaking of structure, and then coming to your fair value gap, the new day opening gaps, the new week opening gaps, very, very important. Liquidity, you have to observe all of those things because as time goes on, you will be documenting what you trade. I do. I write why I enter and when I enter and how it behaves and how it finally comes to an end. Whether it hits stop, I will write it. It hit take profit, I will write it. Was it at break even? I will write it. So at the end of the week, and then it will be summary. All these things can be done in 2 hours or 3 hours highest in a day. Plus the trading, journaling, and summary. So it's not a big job. People go to work from 8 a.m. in the morning. Some leave their house around 4 and they return around 8 p.m. in the night. So this not compare with any of those work at all. And they will be busy all through day. This is not like that. So if you have any question, then I think you can ask the question here now. Because just unmute yourself and ask. I believe we have some time up to 10 minutes. So if you have any question, go ahead and ask now.
I don't have any for now.
Okay. But have you been following? You have been understanding everything, right?
Yes.
You are good. So the practice now you can start, which we have already give you the basis. So one thing with trade is that you don't force trade. So as you see now, we cannot sit down here, but sitting down is part of it. Patience is the number one criteria in trading. No patience, no profit. You have to patiently wait for the setup to come to you. But if you go to the setup, the market will flop. So you have to now program yourself. Okay, you may sleep now, you may not wake up maybe till around maybe 5, 6 in the morning. It's fine. You may decide to create one market. Okay, ancient. You say the market will start moving by that kind of 12 for liquidity. Or London, that I have enough time. I can sit down 2, 3 hours and observe what happened from maybe 6 or 7 a.m. from 6 a.m. and on to 9, 10, then see what the market is telling me. If I don't see anything, once it's 11, you have to forget about trading for that particular time or day if you don't want to trade in New York. Because New York starts immediately by 12. 12 is 7 a.m. in New York. So that is how the world things work. So your major concern now is to mark these things the way I mark it, because it's your currency pair which you have choose. So you can short screen. See what we did last week. This was where we were. If you remember this place, this was the fair value gap. I told you that if the market could not be able to reach the 50%, I will not be able to take the trade. If you remember vividly, this was what we did that day. This was what we did that day. See the time. You can go and check the time. This was around, we were here, somewhere around here. Yes, this was where it was. It was 4:15 a.m., right? The p.m., I think so, should be p.m. This was where we were that. So you see how exactly what I told you. I tell you, on large fair value gap like this, allow the market to come to where 50%. So if I could have been able, I saw it because I was still very much available when these things happened. I saw it. If I could have traded this currency pair, I could have entered even here. Yes, this could have been my entry, and my stop loss will always be below that fair value gap. So I could have been able to take at least, this is 30 pips, but I know my take profit would be here, and then first take profit, and this line still was the target that day. If you remember, this particular red line was the target, which we could not be able to go. So this was not, this was the target. So I could have entered this trade. I may not have hit take profit, but I will make profit because immediately when price begin to break structure, make high and come down, and you see it goes up, and again you have to move stop loss. And then there's some buy side liquidity around here too at the same time, which before this one. So all of these things you have to be taking note of them. So you see what it does that day until around 9 p.m. Which time zone are we in? Yeah, I think we're in your time zone. Yes. Eh? No, yes, this is Nigeria time zone, right? No, this is not Nigeria time. So this is my time zone. See, that's why Yeah, network took us out. You are the host. So I don't know. Let me show you quickly before we round up. Network took me out. So so you can see now this was Nigeria time that we had that class. You can go and check it, and then you will see it. This was around 9 a.m. in the morning. I remember this was Nigeria time, 9 a.m. in the morning. This candle was what I told you I would not be. Well, I don't know why my network is doing this. So I think you understand it. Watch that particular replay, and then you will see exactly what uh, what I was talking about that day. So I don't know whether this recording is available or you cannot minimize Zoom workflows. Okay. I pray say this recording does not go because I'm not seeing any stop recording.